The graduation ceremony was everything I'd imagined. Confetti filled the air like tiny pieces of hope, and proud parents cheered as their children crossed the stage. I stood in the crowd, clutching a bouquet of white roses, Diego's favorite. My heart swelled watching him walk toward his diploma, the black gown flowing behind him. 4 years of late shifts at the hospital, skipped meals, and careful budgeting had led to this moment. I pulled out my phone and texted him, "I'm here. I'm so proud of you." The message showed delivered. I waited for the blue check mark, for his usual quick reply. Nothing. I looked up just in time to see him step off the stage, arms outstretched, walking straight into another woman's embrace. She kissed him, right there, in front of everyone. My fingers went numb. I tried calling. The phone didn't even ring. Just a cold, automated voice. "This number is no longer available. Blocked. Everywhere." My bank app buzzed with a notification. "Tu pago a Diego Morales, matricula final completada. Final tuition payment completed." I dropped the flowers. I don't remember driving home. One moment I was standing in that crowd, frozen, and the next I was fumbling with my apartment keys, hands shaking so badly I could barely unlock the door. I pushed it open and stopped. The apartment felt wrong. Too empty. Too quiet. I walked to the bedroom first. His side of the closet was bare. No shirts, no shoes, no leather jacket he wore every Sunday. The bathroom next. His toothbrush, gone. His cologne, the cheap one I'd bought him for his birthday, missing from the shelf. Even the coffee mug he used every morning had vanished. I checked the dresser drawers. Empty. The lease agreement sat on the kitchen counter. Only my name appeared on it. He'd never added his, even when I'd asked him 3 times. As I sank onto the couch, something crinkled beneath the cushion. I reached down and pulled out a sealed envelope. My own handwriting stared back at me. Inside were tuition deposit receipts, neatly stacked. Every single payment I'd made. For years of proof. I whispered into the silence. He planned this. Lucia stormed through my door an hour later without knocking. She'd seen my text, just 3 words. "He's gone." "Help!" She wrapped me in her arms while I cried, then pulled back with fire in her eyes. "Show me everything," she demanded. We opened our phones and searched for Diego's social media. His graduation post appeared first, uploaded just 20 minutes ago. The photo showed him in his cap and gown, smiling wider than I'd ever seen. The caption read, "To everyone who believed in me, thank you. Valeria, for standing by me through it all." My breath caught. Valeria, the classmate who'd helped him study late at night, the one he'd said was just a friend. Lucia grabbed my phone and clicked on Valeria's profile before I could stop her. The cover photo loaded slowly, painfully. It was them, Diego and Valeria, kissing. At graduation. The same kiss I'd witnessed. The photo was already set as their relationship announcement, posted 1 hour ago. "How long?" I whispered. Lucia's jaw tightened. "Let's find out." The next morning, I drove to the university. My nursing shift didn't start until evening, and I needed answers I couldn't find staring at my apartment walls. The registrar's office was cold and sterile, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The clerk, a woman with kind eyes and gray hair, pulled up Diego's account when I gave her his student ID number. "All fees cleared," she confirmed, scrolling through the screen. "Paid in full by C. Rivera." She paused, squinting at something. "That's interesting." My pulse quickened. "What is?" She glanced at me, then back at the screen. His scholarship was reinstated 3 months ago. Full coverage for his final semester. The words didn't make sense at first. Then they did. All at once. "But I paid his last semester," I said quietly. She nodded. "Yes, you did. The payment went through, even though he no longer needed it. 3 months. For 3 months, he let me keep paying. Keep sacrificing. Keep believing I was helping him reach his dreams." My hand started trembling. The clerk touched my arm gently. "I'm sorry, dear." I left without another word. Outside, the sun felt too bright. He'd scammed me. That evening, Elena called. Diego's mother. Her number still sat in my phone under future suegra, future mother-in-law. I'd added a heart emoji 2 years ago. "Camila, you need to stop," she said before I could even say hello. Her voice was sharp, cold. Not the warm tone she'd used when I'd brought her groceries last month. Stop what? I asked. Calling him. Texting. Looking for him. He's moved on, Mija. You should too. Moved on. Like I was some obstacle he'd stepped over. I just want my money back, I said, hating how small my voice sounded. Elena laughed. Actually laughed. You gave it as love, no? Love isn't something you take back. It wasn't love, I said, finding my strength. It was a loan he never told me he didn't need. She clicked her tongue. He doesn't owe you anything. You chose to help. That's on you. The line went quiet for a moment. Then she added, softer but no less cutting. Besides, Valeria comes from a good family. You understand. I hung up. My voice broke as I whispered to my empty apartment. Not anymore. Lucia sent me a link that night with just 3 words. Brace yourself, amor. I clicked it. A video loaded, shaky phone footage of a beach party. Cabo. Diego and Valeria danced in the sand, drinks in hand, surrounded by their law school friends. The ocean sparkled behind them like it was mocking me. Someone in the background shouted, "To our future lawyer, paid in full." Everyone cheered. Diego raised his glass, grinning. "Sponsored and stress-free," he called back. More laughter. Valeria kissed his cheek. The video was posted on Valeria's Instagram story 6 hours ago. Already, it had been viewed over 2,000 times. I watched it 3 times, my chest tightening with each replay. The comments were full of congratulations, heart emojis, celebration. No one knew. No one cared where that money came from. I typed a response to Lucia, my fingers steady for the first time all day. Then let's make sure the whole world knows who paid. She replied instantly, "Now we're talking." I opened my laptop. The fight was just beginning. I spent the next 2 days gathering everything. Bank statements showing every transfer to Diego over 4 years. Screenshots of texts where he'd asked for money, always with sweet words attached. "Just this once, amor. I'll pay you back when I'm working. You're saving my future." Receipts from the university, proof that every tuition payment came from my account. Photos of us together, timestamps showing he was with me while planning his exit. Lucia came over with coffee and determination. She spread everything across my dining table like we were building a legal case. "You're not doing this for revenge, right?" she asked, though her eyes said she hoped I was. I shook my head. "No, I'm doing it for truth. So the next girl knows who he really is." She squeezed my hand. "Good, because revenge is messy. Truth is clean." I opened a new anonymous email account. The username I chose felt right, felt powerful, the real Diego. Under the subject line, I typed, "Everyone deserves to know what their future lawyer is capable of." But I didn't hit send. Not yet. I wanted to be sure. I wanted to be ready. A week passed. I went to work, came home, stared at the evidence on my table, and didn't send anything. I wasn't scared. I was waiting for the right moment, the right words. Then the whisper started. Lucia texted me first. "Have you seen the law school gossip page?" I hadn't. I opened it. Someone had posted anonymously. Diego Morales didn't pay his own way through school. Ask him who really funded his degree. The comments exploded. Some defended him. Others demanded proof. But someone had started the conversation. Someone else knew. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message was short. "We need to talk." Marcos. I stared at the name. Marcos Alvarez. Diego's friend. They'd studied together, gone to the same parties, graduated in the same ceremony. Why would he contact me? I typed back, "Who is this really?" The response came fast. Diego's ex-friend. "Meet me tomorrow. Café Solana. 3 p.m. Come alone." Lucia read the message over my shoulder. "It could be a trap," she warned. I nodded. "Or it could be an ally." I went to bed that night wondering which one Marcos would turn out to be. Café Solana smelled like cinnamon and strong coffee. I arrived early, choosing a table near the back where I could see the entrance. Marcos walked in at exactly 3 p.m., tall and serious, wearing a button-down shirt that looked too formal for a casual meeting. He ordered an espresso, then sat across from me without smiling. "I knew Diego was using you," he said quietly, no introduction, no small talk. I told him it was wrong. He laughed. My throat tightened. Why are you telling me this now? Marcos looked down at his hands. Because I stayed quiet too long. I let him brag about his investor. That's what he called you. His investor. Like you were some business deal, not the woman who loved him. Investor. The word burned. Did everyone know? I asked. His close friends did. We thought it was a joke at first. Then we realized it wasn't. And by then, he'd already moved on to Valeria. Marcos reached into his bag and pulled out a small USB drive. He slid it across the table. You'll want to see this, he said. It's everything you need. I picked it up, the plastic cold against my palm. What's on it? His eyes met mine. The truth. I plugged the USB into my laptop the moment I got home. 3 folders appeared. Audio, video, messages. I clicked audio first. Diego's voice filled my apartment, casual and cruel. She'll never leave, he said, laughing. She thinks love's a payment plan. Background noise suggested he was at a party. Someone asked, what happens when she finds out? Diego's response was quick, careless. She won't. And if she does, so what? I'll be long gone. I opened the video folder next. Shaky footage showed Diego and Valeria at a restaurant, holding hands across the table. The date stamp read, 3 months before graduation. 3 months before he blocked me. Before he disappeared. While I was still paying his bills. The messages folder was worse. Screenshots of Diego texting Valeria. Just a few more months and I'm free. Another one. She's so blind it's almost sad. I closed the laptop, my hands shaking. For a moment I couldn't breathe. Then something shifted inside me. The sadness hardened into something else. Something sharp. I whispered to the empty room. I'm done crying. Let's begin. I wrote the letter at midnight, my fingers flying across the keyboard. The title came easily, How I Paid for His Dreams and Bought My Freedom. I kept it anonymous but honest. Every detail, every payment, every lie. I didn't name Diego directly, but anyone who knew him would recognize the story. At the end, I included a single line. To the next woman who thinks love means sacrifice without respect, run. I posted it on a popular anonymous forum for students in Mexico City. Within an hour, it had 50 shares. By morning, 500. By noon, it had gone viral. The screenshots I'd included, the timeline, the amounts, everything painted a clear picture. Comments poured in. This happened to my sister. Men like this deserve to be exposed. I hope she gets every peso back. Then someone tagged the law firm where Diego had landed his internship. Their official account replied, We take integrity seriously. This matter is under review. 2 hours later, Marcos texted. They suspended him. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. I just closed my laptop and whispered, Good! The world was finally listening. 3 days later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Take it down. Diego's voice was barely controlled rage. Take down that post, or I'll sue you for defamation. I laughed. Actually laughed. The sound surprised even me. Sue me with what money, Diego? The money I gave you. Silence on his end. Then, quieter, almost desperate. You're ruining my life. No, I said calmly. I'm just telling the truth. You ruined your own life when you lied. He tried again, his voice shaking. Camila, please. I made mistakes, but this isn't fair. You're destroying my career before it even starts. Fair. I repeated. Was it fair when you let me pay for school you didn't need? Was it fair when you blocked me the day you graduated? He had no answer for that. I'm filing a police report, he said finally. For what? Harassment. Defamation. Whatever my lawyer says will stick. I stayed calm. Do it, and I'll show them every receipt, every transfer, every lie. Let's see whose story holds up in court. He hung up. I stared at my phone, waiting for the fear to come. It didn't. I felt nothing but clarity. Lucia arrived with the name of a lawyer. Marcos's older sister, she explained. Adriana Alvarez. She specializes in fraud cases. We met her at a small office near Chapultepec. Adriana was sharp-eyed and confident, with a smile that suggested she enjoyed winning. Diego filed a defamation report, she asked after hearing my story. I nodded. She leaned back in her chair, fingers steepled. Good. Let him. I blinked. Good. He opened the door, she explained. Now we can counterclaim. What he did, accepting money under false pretenses, that's fraud. And if his scholarship was reinstated and he didn't tell you, that's intentional deception. She pulled out a notepad. Do you have proof of every payment? I handed her the folder I'd prepared. She flipped through it, nodding. This is solid. Really solid. She looked up at me. Don't worry, Camila. We like making men like him nervous. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to hope. Not for revenge. Not for justice, even. Just for the chance to be believed. Adriana smiled. Let's file a formal complaint with the university. And if he wants to play legal games, we'll play. And we'll win. Adriana moved fast. Within 2 days, she'd filed a formal complaint with the university's ethics board, attaching every piece of evidence I had. Bank transfers, screenshots, the timeline showing Diego's scholarship reinstatement. The dean's office called me 3 days later. The woman on the phone sounded tired but kind. We've reviewed your complaint, Miss Rivera. We'd like you to come in. I sat across from the dean the next afternoon, Adriana beside me. He was an older man with graying hair and reading glasses perched on his nose. He studied the file in silence for what felt like an eternity. Finally, he looked up. These payments, he said slowly, they coincide with a period when Mr. Morales was receiving a needs-based scholarship. Adriana leaned forward. Exactly. Which means he fraudulently represented his financial situation. The dean sighed, removing his glasses. If he was receiving funds from you while claiming financial need, that's a violation of scholarship terms. He paused, his expression grave. He could lose his degree. The room went silent. I hadn't expected that. Adriana touched my arm gently. The dean closed the file. We'll investigate thoroughly. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Outside, Adriana smiled. Now we wait. That night, the text started. Unknown numbers, all saying the same thing in different words. You'll regret this. Drop it while you still can. You don't know who you're messing with. I ignored the first few. Then I looked out my window and froze. Diego's car was parked across the street, engine running, headlights off. He was just sitting there, watching. My heart hammered. I grabbed my phone, fingers shaking, and called the police. There's someone outside my home, I said. My ex-boyfriend. He's been sending threats. The operator's voice was calm. Stay inside. Lock your doors. Officers are on the way. I watched from behind my curtain as the police car pulled up 10 minutes later. Diego's car started immediately and sped off before the officers could approach. They took my statement, photographed the texts, and promised to file a report. Has he been violent before? One officer asked. I shook my head. No, but he's desperate now. Desperate men do dangerous things, the officer said gently. Keep your doors locked. Call us if he comes back. After they left, I sat in the dark, phone in hand, realizing how far this had gone. How far I'd gone. But I couldn't stop now. The news broke 2 days later. A local news site that covered university scandals ran the headline, Law graduate under investigation for academic fraud. They didn't name Diego directly, but the details were unmistakable. Screenshots from my viral post circulated again. This time, people connected the dots. Diego's name appeared in the comments. His photo. His LinkedIn profile. Within hours, the law firm that had suspended him officially withdrew their job offer. A public statement appeared on their website. We hold our associates to the highest ethical standards. Diego's social media accounts went silent. Valeria deleted every photo of them together. The gossip page exploded with reactions. He deserved it. This is what happens when you use people. Karma works fast. I sat at my kitchen table, reading through it all with a strange numbness. Lucia texted, You did it. But I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired. Relieved, maybe. But mostly tired. I typed back. I warned him. And I'd given him every chance to make it right. He'd chosen pride. So I'd chosen truth. I closed my laptop and whispered to no one, It's over. It wasn't over. 3 days later, someone knocked on my door. Hard, insistent. I looked through the peephole. Diego stood there, unshaven, eyes red, looking nothing like the confident graduate I'd watched cross that stage. Against my better judgment, I opened the door but kept the chain lock on. What do you want? I asked. To talk, he said, voice hoarse. Please, Camila. Just 5 minutes. I shouldn't have, but I unlatched the chain and stepped back, leaving the door open. He walked in slowly, hands in his pockets. I loved you once, he said quietly. The words should have hurt. They didn't. You loved the version of me that paid your bills, I replied. He flinched. That's not fair. Fair. I almost laughed. You blocked me the day you graduated. You moved out while I was at work. You let me keep paying when you didn't need the money. And you want to talk about fair? He opened his mouth, closed it. No words came. Leave, I said softly. And don't come back. He turned toward the door, shoulders slumped. Then he paused. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know, I said. But sorry doesn't pay me back. I shut the door. Outside, I heard footsteps. Then nothing. What I didn't know was that my neighbor had been recording from her window. The whole conversation, Diego showing up, me closing the door, everything. She posted it on TikTok that night with the caption, "When she finally stops funding your lies." The video went viral by morning. Over 1 million views. Comments flooded in. She handled that with so much grace. He looks pathetic now. This is what accountability looks like. Lucia called me, half laughing, half amazed. Girl, you're famous. I watched the video, cringing at my own face, my own words. But the comments were overwhelmingly supportive. Queen behavior. She didn't yell, didn't cry, just stood her ground. Then Diego's mother posted a long, rambling Facebook rant blaming me for everything. Calling me manipulative, bitter, vengeful. She claimed I'd seduced her son, trapped him with money, and now was destroying him out of spite. The post got shared in our community groups. For a moment, I worried. Maybe people would believe her. Maybe they'd turn on me. But Lucia texted. Check the comments. I did. And I smiled. One by one, people were posting receipts. Screenshots of the viral letter. The news article. Photos from the graduation. Elena's post was backfiring spectacularly. By the next day, a local gossip blog had picked up the story. The headline read, "Meet the nurse who paid for her boyfriend's law degree, then he blocked her." The article included everything. My viral post, the TikTok video, Elena's rant, and the university investigation. Comments poured in from all over Mexico City. I know this family. They've always been social climbers. The mom is worse than the son. This girl deserves a medal. Someone in the comments dropped a link to all the original receipts I'd posted. Bank transfers, dates, amounts. Everything. The blog updated their article with the new information. Suddenly, Diego wasn't just a bad boyfriend. He was a cautionary tale. Elena deleted her Facebook post. Too late. Screenshots lived forever. Diego's friends started distancing themselves publicly. One posted, "I don't condone what happened. Integrity matters." Another, "We all make mistakes, but this was calculated." Even Valeria, who'd been silent since deleting their photos, posted a cryptic story. Sometimes you don't know the whole truth until it's too late. By evening, Diego had disappeared from social media completely. Every account gone. Adriana texted, "The university board meets tomorrow. Stay strong." I didn't feel strong. I felt exhausted. But I'd come too far to stop now. Valeria's apology video appeared the next morning. She sat in her room, no makeup, hair pulled back, looking genuinely shaken. "I need to say something," she started. "I didn't know Diego was still with Camila when we got together. He told me they'd broken up months before. He told me he'd paid his own way through school. I believed him." She paused, wiping her eyes. "I was wrong to not question it. I was wrong to not look deeper. And I'm sorry, Camila. You deserve better." We both did. The video got thousands of views within hours. Comments were mixed. Some praised her for speaking up. Others called her complicit. But the internet had made its judgment. The villain was clear. Diego. His name trended on local Twitter. Not for his graduation, not for his future, but for his lies. Someone created a meme using his graduation photo with the caption, "Sponsored by Love. It spread everywhere. I should have felt vindictive. Satisfied. But mostly I just felt sad. Sad that it had come to this. Sad that he'd chosen this path. Sad that I'd love someone who'd never really existed. Lucia came over that evening with wine. We sat on my couch in silence. Finally, she said, "You won." I shook my head. Nobody won. But at least the truth is out. A week later, an envelope arrived in my mailbox. No return address. Just my name written in shaky handwriting I recognized immediately. Diego's. Inside was a single sheet of notebook paper. "I'm sorry. Please don't ruin me. I know I hurt you. I know I lied. But I'm begging you, stop this. My life is falling apart. The university might revoke my degree. No firm will hire me. My family won't speak to me. Please. I'll pay you back. I'll do whatever you want. Just make it stop." I read it twice. Then I walked to my kitchen, where all my old receipts still sat in a folder on the counter. I pulled them out, one by one. 4 years of payments. 4 years of hope. 4 years of believing I was building a future with someone who'd already planned his exit. I placed Diego's letter on top of the stack. Then I carried everything to the sink, struck a match, and watched them burn. The paper curled and blackened, smoke rising toward the ceiling. Ashes swirled in the air like tiny pieces of freedom. When the last scrap had burned away, I whispered, "I'm done. Not with revenge. Not with justice. Just done. With him. With the pain. With carrying weight that was never mine to carry." Months passed. The university's investigation concluded Diego kept his degree, but with a formal reprimand on his record. No law firm would touch him. The internet had made sure of that. I returned to my nursing shifts, my normal life, my quiet apartment. But something had changed in me. One evening, Lucia sent me an article about women who'd been financially exploited by partners. The comments were full of similar stories. "This happened to me. I paid for his car and he left. I supported him through medical school and he cheated." I read every single comment, and I thought about all that money I'd lost. Then I thought about what I could do with it instead. I opened my laptop and started a scholarship fund. Not a big one, just small, for women who were supporting others' education while neglecting their own dreams. I called it the Rivera Grant. The application was simple. Tell us your story. Show us your strength. Let us help you help yourself. Within a month, 50 women had applied. Their stories broke my heart and put it back together. Marcos texted me when he saw the announcement. "This is beautiful. Count me in." The first donation came through. 5,000 pesos. From Marcos. 3 months later, Marcos asked me to meet him for coffee. The same cafe where he'd first handed me the USB drive. This time, the weight between us was different. Lighter. He ordered 2 cappuccinos without asking what I wanted. He remembered. "How's the scholarship fund going?" he asked. "Better than I expected," I admitted. "We fully funded 2 women's semesters already." He smiled. "That's incredible, Camila." We talked about work, life, small things that felt big in their normalcy. As we got up to leave, he said quietly, "Not all men are Diego." I looked at him, really looked at him, at the kindness in his eyes, the steady presence he'd been since that first message. "I know," I said, "but I had to meet one who was, to know that." He reached for my hand. For a moment, I hesitated. Then I let him take it. His palm was warm, steady, real. We walked out into the afternoon sunlight together. Not as a couple. Not yet. But as 2 people who understood that sometimes the worst betrayals lead you to the truest connections. "Coffee again next week?" he asked. I smiled. "I'd like that." A year after everything fell apart, I stood in the audience at a university auditorium. The first recipient of the Rivera Grant was graduating. Her name was Sophia, 26, a single mother who'd been working 2 jobs while studying nursing. She'd applied to my scholarship with a letter that made me cry. "I've been paying for everyone else's dreams," she'd written. "Maybe it's time someone believed in mine." Now she crossed the stage in her white coat, diploma in hand, tears streaming down her face. When the ceremony ended, she found me in the crowd. "Thank you," she whispered, hugging me tight. "You changed my life." "No," I said. "You changed your own life. I just helped you see you could." She pulled back, smiling. "I dedicated this to you. To the woman who turned betrayal into opportunity." The crowd around us clapped. Among them, in the very back, I spotted a familiar figure. Diego. He stood alone, watching. Our eyes met across the auditorium. He looked older, tired. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just peace. I turned back to Sophia, to the celebration, to the life I'd built from the ashes of the one that burned. Diego had taught me something valuable after all. That love without respect isn't love. It's just a loan that never gets repaid. We walked out into the sunlight, Sophia chattering excitedly about her new job at the children's hospital. Marcos had come to the graduation too, standing beside me through the whole ceremony. He squeezed my hand as we left. "You did good," he said. I looked back one last time. Diego was gone, disappeared into the crowd, into his own consequences, into whatever life he'd managed to build from the ruins of his choices. I'd spent so long wondering if I'd ever feel whole again. If I'd ever stop waking up angry, hurt, betrayed. Now I knew the answer. Healing didn't come from revenge. It came from rebuilding, from taking the pieces of your broken story and making something beautiful out of them, from understanding that the money was never really about money. It was about learning what I was worth and what I would never accept again. As we walked toward the parking lot, I whispered to myself, words only I could hear. He taught me that love without respect is a loan that never gets repaid. Then I smiled, because I'd finally paid off the debt. Not to him, to myself, and that freedom was worth more than any amount of money I'd lost. I was free. Completely, finally, beautifully free. Thanks for watching. If you've ever felt betrayed, tell me, how did you take it? Hit subscribe and share your comments.